All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Dazed and Confused, 1993. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 stars. Any movie with Ben Affleck is worthy of 1 out of 5 stars. The soundtrack is 99% of your current classic rock station playlist, minus all the grunge that they insert between 70s classic rock. And I'm talking about K-Fox 98.5 mostly. Sometimes they insert some alternative stuff like 9 Inch Nails and Nirvana and whatever. The popular alternative stuff, I should say, kind of like I don't know, 90s grunge mixed with 70s classic rock. For the most part, the soundtrack is 70s classic rock. Although they threw me a curveball. I heard Summer Breeze by Seals and Croft. Really? That's like an AM bubblegum rock kind of easy listening song. What does that have to do with classic rock anyway? I'm just asking. Anyways, Dazed and Confused is a 1993 U.S. coming-of-age comedy film. How many films have we seen like this? Hot Bubblegum, Lemon Popsicle, American Graffiti. What else? Even the TV show, that 70s show. This one is kind of like an R-rated version of that 70s show. It's kind of dumb. It's just a bunch of guys like going to parties and saying stupid things while high as a kite. For example, the stoner dude with the marijuana T-shirt. He's like, "Oh, Martha Washington was a cool cat, man. She used to smoke out George Washington, man. And George Washington not only had plants on Mount Vernon, but all over the country, man." It's supposed to be some bicentennial crapola. This dude, imagine. Anyways, I was 5 years old in 1976. And I think my uncle had a lot of friends like this. And they did crazy things like crashing into people's driveway brick and stuff like that. Like the brick facade on the edge of the driveway. They would do stupid things like that. My uncle had this this mirror that he cut out the word drugs from a Penthouse magazine or something. Yeah. And then he put it on the mirror. I don't know. He was the last of 4 kids. He's kind of a lame brain. Then he ended up getting dementia, just like my mother. Oh man, that guy never held a nice job in his life. I mean, I complained about having to go to interviews and stuff. Although the interview I had yesterday was most excellent. They've got to be crazy not to hire me over there. Anyways, the movie poster says It was the last day of school in 1976, a time that they never forgot. If only they could remember. Yeah, after drinking all those beers, smoking all those doobies. How can anybody remember that what happened till the next day when you when somebody says, "Oh, you crashed into my driveway facade." All right. Dazed and Confused's 1993 U.S. coming of age comedy film. I didn't laugh. Ben Affleck is not funny. Neither is Rory Cochrane, who was also in A Scanner Darkly. I don't know any of these other actors. Michael McConaughey, or yeah. Anyways, it's written and directed by Richard Linklater. The film features a large ensemble cast of actors who later became stars. I don't know hardly any of these people. Jason London, I don't know who he is. Ben Affleck, automatic 1 out of 5 stars unless he's in Geegly, Geegly, or whatever it's called, Jiggly, with yeah, I'll watch Jiggly with Jennifer Lopez. Just to look at her wide arse. Anyways, Mila Jovovich. Don't know who she is. Cole Hauser? I haven't seen any of his movies. Parker Posey. Don't know who she is. Adam Goldberg? I have no idea. I haven't seen Saving Private Ryan. Sorry. Matthew David McConaughey. Don't know. Nikki Cat? Joey Lauren Adams and Rory Cochrane. The plot follows the exploits of several teenagers during the last day of school, 1976, Austin, Texas. Released on September 24th, 1993, Dazed and Confused was a commercial disappointment at the box office, grossing less than $8 million in the United States. The film later found success on the home video market and since has become a cult classic. Hey, Karate Man's back. Karate Man's in the chat room. It's after 3. I've seen the first 3 Indiana Jones. There was Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh, I've only seen the first 2. Excuse me. Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom are the only ones that I have seen. I think you've asked me that before, and I think I have the other ones on my Netflix queue. I don't have the 2023 Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, but I believe I have the next 2 on my Netflix queue. I can double check. Dazed and Confused ranked 3rd on Entertainment Weekly magazine's list of the 50 best high school movies. There are 50 high school movies. I'm glad I haven't seen all of them. Anyway, the magazine also ranked it 10th on its funniest movies of the past 25 years list. What's so funny about this movie? Oh, I forgot to add Wonder Woman in my last video. Somebody in the chat room before Karate Man was here recommended Very Bad Things, and they said it was on YouTube, but I couldn't find it on YouTube. Sorry. I tried, I looked, but I couldn't find it. Sorry, Karate Man. I'm pulling up my Netflix queue, and it gives me problems when I switch tabs while I'm trying to load my Netflix page. So this might be a while. There we go. Indiana Jones. Come on. There we go. Indiana Jones. So I've got Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, number 235, and then Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, number 236. Yeah, isn't that what I just said? 2013? Karate Man's talking about the new Indiana Jones film, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which does not have Harrison Ford. Or maybe he does a cameo. I don't know. Doesn't have Harrison Ford as Dr. Henry Walton, a fictional professor of archaeology. Yeah, people said the second one was racist because it had that Chinese sidekick kid. We're eating monkey brains, remember? But I thought it was kind of fun, actually. I used to have it on VHS tape. The Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That one was kind of far out there. Okay, it's May 28th, 1976. I'm 5 years old. I don't care about these people. The last day of school at Lee High School in Austin, Texas. Could have been any high school. Could have been Sequoia High School here in Road City. The next year's group of seniors are preparing for the annual hazing of incoming freshmen. Randall Pink Floyd, the school's star football player, is asked to sign a pledge promising not to take drugs during the summer or do anything that would jeopardize the goal of a championship season. When classes end, the incoming freshman boys are hunted down by seniors and paddled. So that's Ben Affleck's thing where he likes to paddle freshmen who are still growing, still not fully grown yet. The incoming freshman girls are also hazed. They're rounded up in the school parking lot by senior girls covered in mustard, ketchup, flour, and raw eggs, and forced to propose to senior boys. Wow. This movie's dumb. Okay, so $6.9 million budget and box office $8 million. That's supposed to be funny, hazing little freshman girls. As day fades to night, freshman Mitch Kramer escapes the initial hazing with his best friend Carl Burnett, who was later cornered after a baseball game and violently paddled. Baseball game, excuse me. violently paddled. This Carl Burnett dude has got super long hair. I mean, he could have been in the 80s hair band. Fred O'Banion, a senior participating in the hazing tradition for a second year after failing to graduate, delights in punishing Mitch. Pink gives the injured Mitch a ride home, and he offers to take him cruising with friends at night. Plans for the evening are ruined when Kevin Pickford's parents discover his intention to host a cake party. So the beer cake dude shows up early because he wants to get some nookie. He wants to see his girlfriend. I used to work with this guy who wanted to leave work early so that he could get liquored up to be with this lady. And not coincidentally, he was listening to classic rock, the same soundtrack as this. Elsewhere, the intellectual trio of Cynthia Dunn, Tony Olson, and Mike Newhouse decide to participate in the evening's festivities. Pink, these people are like politically correct idiots. I hate these people in this movie. Ben Affleck is pretty bad, but the annoying nerd guy is just who gets beat up. I can't stand that guy. Pink and his friend David Wooderson, a man in his early 20s who still socializes with high school students. Hey, little girl, want some candy? They pick up Mitch and head for the Emporium, a pool hall frequented by teenagers. Wow, this is getting really boring. This is how not to spend your teenage years. As the night progresses, students loiter around the Emporium. Yeah, that's a good word, loiter. Listen to rock music, cruise the neighborhood, and frequent a local drive-through restaurant. Mitch is introduced to sophomore Julie Sims, with whom he shares a mutual attraction. While cruising again with Pink, Pickford, and Dawn Dawson, Mitch drinks beer, smokes cannabis for the first time. I guess you get paddled and then you get to drink beer and smoke cannabis. After that's the life of a 1976 high school freshman. After a game of mailbox baseball, a neighborhood resident brandishes a gun, threatens to call the police. You destroyed my mailbox. You're going to jail for... He starts blasting at him. They barely escape after the resident fires at their car. After returning to the Emporium, Mitch runs into the middle school friends. Well, there's that scene where they're eating monkey brain. That was totally racist. And what was that? All right, let me pull this up. It's banned in India, by the way. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The depiction of Indian culture caused controversy, brought it to the attention of India's censors, who placed a temporary ban on it. As it did not open in theaters, the film was later released when it came out on home video in India. The depiction of Indian cuisine was heavily criticized, as dishes such as baby snakes, eyeball soup, beetles, and chilled monkey brains are not Indian foods. What they didn't say is that it's based on an ancient cult that existed in India and was recreated like a fantasy, sort of like a Pankot Palace in Shanghai, where the plane breaks down and the passengers use a raft to jump over it, slide down a hill, and reach India. It's just a fantasy, folklore. And then there was that Chinese, the Chinese kid who had ridiculous mannerisms. Short Round, the 11-year-old Chinese sidekick. Yeah, those. I'm surprised Chinese people didn't talk about Short Round stereotype. He's kind of like a Long Duck Dong from 16 Candles. Remember that guy? Long Duck Dong. Anyways. After returning to the Emporium, Mitch runs into his middle school friends. They hatch a plan to exact middle school. This would have been junior high school. There was no middle school in 1976. They hatch a plan to exact revenge on O'Banion, the Ben Affleck dude. It culminates with them dropping paint on O'Banion Affleck, who leaves in a fit of rage. He's always cursing, and he's a big dummy. He's like smashing his paddle. And he races off. He's not even using the driveway. He's like driving in the dirt patch. After the Emporium closes, an impromptu cake party is planned in the field under a moonlight tower. Cynthia, Tony, and Mike arrived at their first cake party, where Mike is threatened by tough guy Clint Bruno. I hate this Mike guy. Tony runs into freshman Sabrina Davis, whom he met earlier during the hazing, and they begin hanging out together. Cynthia likes Wooderson and exchanges phone numbers with him. By the way, there's no nudity in this. It's all, the R rating is all due to swearing and heavy drug usage, I guess. Drinking, getting drunk and stoned. Mike, suffering from the humiliation of his confrontation with Clint, decides to make a stand by punching him. In return, he gets tackled by Clint, and he receives a beating from him. Good, he deserved it. The fight is broken up by Pink, and Wooderson football player Benny O'Donnell confronts Pink about his refusal to sign the pledge. Pink, the only player not to have signed, believes it violates his individuality and beliefs. Oh, poor guy. He can't smoke the reefer if he wants to join the football team. Mitch leaves the cake party with Julie. They drive to a nearby hill overlooking town to make out. Tony gives Sabrina a ride home, and they kiss goodnight. I think that's where the Summer Breeze song kicks in. I could be wrong. As the night turns to dawn, Pink, Wooderson, Dawn, Ron Slater, and several other friends decide to smoke cannabis on the 50-yard line of the football field. The police arrives, so they ditch the drugs. Recognizing Pink and Dawson, the police call Coach Conrad, his football coach. Conrad lectures Pink about hanging out with losers, and he insists that he sign the pledge. Pink says that he might play football, but he's not going to sign it. He crumbles up the agreement, throws it in the coach's face. Pink leaves with his friends to Houston to obtain tickets to an Aerosmith concert, which is coming up in 3 weeks, I guess. Why? Again, these are songs that did not play on classic rock stations during the 70s. You heard stuff like Bad Company. How come Bad Company isn't on this soundtrack? Or AC/DC. What about AC/DC? And of course, the only Kiss song that ever plays on classic rock radio nowadays is I Want to Rock and Roll All Night, Party Every Day. That's the only Kiss song that gets playtime after 1993. You never hear Lick It Up or one of those songs. Mitch arrives home after sunrise to find his mother has waited for him. She decides against punishment, but warns him about coming home late again. He gets a get out of jail free card. He's drunk, but he pretends like he's not drunk. Mitch goes to his bedroom, puts on his headphones, and listens to Slow Ride by Foghat. A song that I've heard a million times. Karate Man says, who would ever thought the guy who played Short Round would win an Oscar nearly 40 years later? He was also in The Goonies, 1985. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I think his speech is less stereotyped in The Goonies. You want to know his name? It's Ki Hai Kwan, also known as Jonathan Ki Kwan. And then he took a 20-year acting hiatus after The Goonies. He's a pretty good actor, actually. I liked his. I thought he was pretty decent in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. At least he tried to ham it up for the camera, I guess you could say. But I like that Short Round character. I think he's cool. He's got his little baseball cap. New York Yankees. I used to have a New York Yankees baseball cap back in around the same time. I like Reggie Jackson back then. He was kind of cool playing for the Yankees. When did Reggie Jackson play for the Yankees? Doesn't tell me here. Maybe if I click on stats. Reggie Jackson. Okay, he played for the Yankees from 1977 to 1981. And I think 1981 might have been his no, 1980 was his breakout year. He had 41 home runs, 111 RBIs. Reggie Jackson. All right. When asked in an interview what he wanted to do with Slacker, director Richard Linklater said, I wanted to make this teenage rock and roll spree. I knew I wanted the story to take place on one day in the spring of 1976, but at one point it was much more experimental. The whole movie took place in a car with the characters driving around and listening to ZZ Top. I never heard ZZ Top on the radio back in the 1976. I don't know what these people are talking about. This is more like modern day classic rock station playlist. Lee Daniel, the director of photography, described the concept. It would have been two shots, one of a guy putting in an 8-track of ZZ Top's Fandango, and one of two guys driving around talking. The film would be the length of the actual album, and you'd hear each track in the background as a source. Eventually, Linklater decided to write a script to represent different points of view, the first draft of which took a month to complete. Universal Studios fast-tracked production of Linklater's script, jumping ahead of 30 other films which were in development at the time. I haven't seen Slacker. I don't know this Linklater dude. But I don't know why they call this a cult classic. It's boring. Cast searches were done in Austin, New York, and Los Angeles. Vince Vaughn was almost cast as the bully O'Banion before Ben Affleck was chosen. As Linklater put it, Ben was smart and full of life. You don't cast the unappealing person, you cast the appealing person. Other young actors considered for roles included Elizabeth Berkley, Myra Catherine Sorvino, Ashley Judd, Brendan Fraser, John Favreau, John Colea Favreau, Ronald Joseph Livingston, and Claire Danes. I don't even know who the heck these people are, except for maybe Ashley Judd. Casting director Don Phillips said, we wanted Claire Danes for the girl, but she was too young. She couldn't leave school. Renee Zellweger, I know who she is. She was one of the world's highest paying actresses back in 2007. She has a non-speaking role in the film, but was originally considered for the part of Darla, which went to Parla Posey instead. Linklater said Parker was just crazier. Wiley Wiggins was a big find in Austin, according to Linklater, who described him as a 15-year-old with all the bad habits of a grad student, smoking cigarettes, hanging out at coffee shops, my kind of guy. Wow, that's real productive. Some roles which were intended to be larger were reduced. The Kevin Pinkford character, played by Sean Andrews, was meant to be a larger role, but due to his behavior with the other cast members, Pinkford's screen time was cut in favor of Matthew McConaughey's character Wooderson. Linklater recalled there was another actor, Sean Andrews, who's kind of opposite of McConaughey. He was really getting along with everybody. I could tell the actors were. Oh, he wasn't really getting along with everybody. I could tell the actors weren't responding to him. Linklater had to break up a fight between Andrews and London at one point on the screen. The two characters barely speak to each other during the film. Mila Jovanovic, who played Michelle, Pickford's girlfriend, had her role reduced because, in Linklater's words, it really didn't gel. Nothing in this movie gels. McConaughey was not originally cast in the film, as the role of Wooderson was originally small, and it was meant to be cast locally for budget purposes. He was a film student at the University of Texas in Austin, and he went out drinking with his girlfriend one night. They ended up at the Hyatt Hotel bar, since his friend was a bartender there, and he could get them a discount. He approached casting director Phillips in the bar. Phillips recalls the bartender says to him, "See that guy down there? That's Don Phillips. He cast Sean Penn in Fast Times." And Matthew goes, I'm going to go down and talk to this guy." Phillips also recalls that Linklater didn't like McConaughey at first because he was too handsome. Much of the Wooderson role was improvised or written on the spot, giving McConaughey more screen time. Dazed and Confused was released on September 24th. Oh. Karate Man says Short Round was entertaining, almost like Jackie Chan Jr. in a way. I don't know. I don't even know who Jackie Chan Jr. is. But okay, I'll take your word for it. Dazed and Confused was released on September 24th, 1993 in 183 theaters, grossing $918,127 on its opening weekend. It went on to make $7.9 million in North America. The film received positive reviews from critics on review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 92% approval rating based on 62 reviews. In other words, it's a lamestream movie. With a weighted average of 7.9 out of 10, the website's critical consensus reads, featuring an excellent ensemble cast. What, they know how to smoke a joint? A precise feel for the 70s and a killer soundtrack. Dazed and Confused is a funny, affectionate, and clear-eyed look at high school life. What's so funny about it? Metacritic provides a score of 78 out of 100 from 19 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Film critic Roger Ebert awarded the film 3 stars out of 4, praising the film as art crossed with anthropology with a painful underside. Janet Maslin of the New York Times wrote, "Dazed and Confused has an enjoyably playful spirit, one that amply compensates for its lack of structure." Desson Howe of the Washington Post wrote, "Dazed succeeds on its own terms, and it reflects U.S. culture so well it becomes part of it." In her review of the Austin Chronicle, Marjorie Baumgarten gave particular praise to Matthew McConaughey's performance. He is the character we're all too familiar with in movies, but McConaughey nails this guy without a hint of condescension or whimsy, claiming this character for all time as his own. Rolling Stone's Peter Travers gave the film 4 stars out of 4 and praised Linklater as a sly and formidable talent, bringing an anthropologist's eye to the spectacularly funny celebration of the rights of stupidity. Yeah, this movie is stupid. Oh, Karate Man made up Jackie Chan Jr. Okay, I get it. It was a joke. Sorry. Whoop, that went over my head. The poop-faced American Graffiti is the ultimate party movie, loud, crude, socially irresponsible, and totally irresistible. It's pretty decent. I like the music better. I've heard these 70 tunes so many times on the radio, especially when I was driving around delivering groceries, because they don't have crazy college radio stations anymore from the early 90s. They just have classic rock and that's it. You get sick and tired of hearing the same song for the 500th time. Even Ted Nugent, Stranglehold, which is a song that I like, but I've heard it so many times you get sick and tired of listening to it. Anyways. In his review for Time, Richard Corliss wrote, Linklater is surely no ham-fisted moralist, but his film has lots of attitude to shake a finger at, but also has enough buoyant 70s music to shake anybody's tail feather and a kind of easy jubilance of narrative and character. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly gave the film an A rating and wrote, yet if Linklater captures the comic goofiness of the time, he also evokes its liberating spirit. The film finds its meaning in the subtle clash between the older sadistic macho jock ethos and the follow your impulse hedonism that was a lingering legacy of the 60s. I have no idea what these people are talking about. Quentin Tarantino included it on his list of the 10 greatest films of all time in 2002 in the 2002 Sight and Sound poll. In 2003, Entertainment Weekly ranked the film number 17 on its list of the top 50 cult films, third on its list of the 50 best high school movies, 10th on its list of funniest movies of the past 25 years list, and ranked at number 6 on its The Cult 25, the essential left field movie hits since '83 list. In other words, it's a lamestream movie. In October 2004, 3 of Linklater's former classmates from Huntsdale High School, whose surnames are Wooderson, Slater, and Floyd, filed a defamation lawsuit against Linklater, claiming to be the basis for the similarly named characters on the film. The lawsuit was filed in New Mexico rather than Texas because New Mexico has a longer statute of limitations. The suit was subsequently dismissed. In 2012, McConaughey reprised his role as Wooderson as in the Bushwalker and the Black Widows music video Synthesizers. To celebrate the film's 20th anniversary in 2013, the film received the Star of Texas Award from the Texas Film Hall of Fame. Linklater accepted the award after being introduced by Tarantino, who reiterated his appreciation of the film as his favorite of the 1990s. The event featured a reunion of several cast members, including Joey Lauren Adams, Wiley Wiggins, Kristen Hinojosa, Nikki Katt, Mona Lee, Catherine Averill Morris, Anthony Rapp, Marissa Ribisi, Michael Burke Thomas, and Mark Vandermeulen. At the event, Linklater described his intent to create an inverse John Hughes film. The drama is so low-key and dazed and confused. I don't remember teenage being that dramatic. I remember just trying to go with the flow, socialize, fit in, and be cool. The stakes were really low. To get Aerosmith tickets or not, that's a big thing. It was really rare when the star-crossed lovers from the opposite sides of the tracks and the girl gets pregnant and there's a car crash and somebody dies. That didn't happen. That didn't really happen much. But riding around, trying to look for something to do with the music cranked up, now that happened a lot. After Boyhood was released by... oh, man. After Boyhood was released by Linklater, announced that his next film, Everybody Wants Some, would be a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused. The newer film takes place at Texas College in 1980. The line, what happened? The line, all right, all right, all right, became a catchphrase of Matthew McConaughey. Rotten Tomatoes editorial team credits the film for putting Austin, Texas on the map. MCA Universal released Dazed and Confused on Laserdisc in January 1994, followed by a VHS release 2 months later. The film was released on HD DVD in 2006. The Criterion Collection released a 2-disc box set edition of the film on June 6, 2006. In the US and Canada, features included an audio commentary by Richard Linklater, deleted scenes, the original trailer, the 50-minute Making Dazed documentary that aired on the American Movie Classics channel on September 18, 2005, on-set interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, cast auditions, and footage from the 10-year anniversary celebration. Also included is a 72-page book featuring new essays by Kent Jones, Jim DeRogatis, and Chuck Klosterman, as well as memories from the cast and crew, character profiles, and a mini reproduction of the original film poster designed by Frank Kozik. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A rating and stated that it grants this enduring cult classic the DVD treatment it deserves. I don't know what disc I watched. Now that I think about it, I don't think it was the Criterion Collection. The Blunt Truth is a 4-minute and 20-second long 1970s anti-cannabis hoax educational film. I saw that. Oh, Universal Studios released Dazed and Confused on Blu-ray in August 2011 in an 1080p AVC MPEG-4 transfer with a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 soundtrack, 5.1 soundtrack, excuse me. The Blunt Truth appeared as a bonus feature on 2004's Dazed and Confused Flashback Party Edition. That is the disc that I saw. The Dazed and Confused Flashback Party Edition. On February 21st, 2023, the Criterion Collection re-released the film on 4K UHD Blu-ray. In their review, Sven Atanasov at Blu-ray.com states that the 2022 restoration on the 4K Blu-ray disc was undertaken by the Criterion Collection from the 35mm original camera negative scanned on a laser graphics director film scanner based on the 2011 color transfer. This resolution was newly remastered in Dolby Vision HDR and approved by director Richard Linklater. The 2011 SDR restoration on the Blu-ray, supervised by Linklater and director of photography Lee Daniel, was undertaken by the Criterion Collection from a 35mm interpositive scanned on a Spirit 4K Datacine. The original 5.1 surround soundtrack was remastered from the 35mm magnetic audio track. The soundtrack for the film was released on September 28, 1993 by the Medicine label. They consist of hit songs, mostly rock from the 1970s, the film setting. The songs Hurricane by Bob Dylan, Hey Baby by Ted Nugent, and Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith were also included in the film, but not on the commercial soundtracks. The Alien song, For Those Who Will Listen, by Mila Jovovich, was briefly performed by Jovovich's character, Michelle Burrows, but was not included in the soundtrack either. Geffen Records attempted to get up and coming band Jackal to do a cover of Grand Funk's We Are an American Band to play the end credits and be released as a single, but Linklater refused. In September 1993, St. Martin's Press published a 127-page softcover book inspired by Richard Linklater's screenplay. It was compiled by Linklater, Denise Montgomery, and others, and designed by Eric Josevich. It was presented as a kind of yearbook with character profiles, essays by characters, a timeline focusing on the years 1973 to 1977, and various 1970s pop culture charts and quizzes. It also featured dozens of black and white photos from the film. Oh, Karate Man says, The Fugitive 1993 is one of Harrison Ford's best 90s action classics. He's wrongfully accused of killing his wife. He needs to clear his name. Tommy Lee Jones goes after him. Karate Man has forgotten what films he's already recommended to me. Like those Indiana Jones films that I haven't seen. Professor Quiz commented on my last video. I really enjoyed what was the last movie that I saw? I can't even remember the name of it. I just saw it this morning. Oh, I got my tires changed. That cost me like $500. But the front right tire was just like completely bald. And it wasn't under warranty because the wear on the tire was kind of uneven. And I did get the wheel alignment for a couple years. I've been too busy working 2 jobs for the last 2 years. It's just been crazy. But hopefully I'll get that. Day of Wrath is the one that I really like. Professor Quiz commented on my Day of Wrath video. He said, how come I can't find an English version on YouTube? And you must speak Danish or something. I said, no, I just got the Criterion disc with the English subtitles. All right, The Fugitive. I'm not seeing The Fugitive on my Oh, yeah, that's the first time Karate Man recommended The Fugitive. I'm adding it to my Netflix queue right now. I stand corrected. Karate Man finally came up with a new recommendation. Good job, Karate Man. I mentioned in my last video that the last 100 on my next Netflix queue are pretty much Karate Man recommendations for the most part, like 80%. Patriot Games. Let's see if I have Patriot Games. Patriot Games is not even on Netflix. But I did add The Fugitive. Karate Man wants to sue Netflix. That's a good idea. They're getting rid of their DVD mailings. Oh, which is a crying shame. It's downright sin. Why would they do something like that? After how many years? 25 years of sending DVDs, they just cut it off? I think they're trying to irritate their longtime customers. That, and they want everybody switched to streaming. I guess they don't want anybody to watch the bonus features on the DVDs. All right, let's see if Patriot Games is on. Is on YouTube. It says watch with membership, buy or rent. No luck with Patriot Games. You might have already recommended that one to me, and I couldn't find it. And I still can't find it. It's fine to recommend stuff multiple times if I can't find it. Because sometimes it pops up again on YouTube, like the assassination, for instance. Oh, you like my Sony t-shirt? I had to work for Sony selling televisions, 3D televisions at Best Buy, while I was sort of in between jobs, still married, but I got fired from my cushy downtown San Francisco job, and I was suffering financially. My marriage was suffering, and I was changing my son's diapers at that time. So a lot of things happened back then. I still got the t-shirt. I still got the shirt from 13 years ago. It managed to hold up well over the years. It's not like torn or damaged or anything. It's still good shape. Very sturdy shirt. 13 years old. All right. Well, this video is an hour long. Thanks to Wikipedia and Karate Man. I did add that The Fugitive to my Netflix queue. Instead of Wonder Woman TV show with Linda Carter, which is an Adrian mention. Adrian mentioned Wonder Woman and Knight Rider, a couple of TV shows, but I had to add Karate Man's recommendation of Everybody Loves Raymond first. So I got all those episodes finally on Netflix towards the bottom, and then I started adding one Wonder Woman disc. I think I still have 3 more seasons left, and a couple seasons of Knight Rider, and then I can get back to adding Jim Wynorski movies. The ones that I deleted after I added all that Karate Man stuff. All right. Well, yeah, I think Sony makes most of their money from PlayStation, right? Columbia Pictures, I'm not sure about. Yeah, I think it is the longest video that I ever did. 1 hour. I wonder if how many people are actually going to sit through the entire hour besides you, Karate Man. You're the only one who would sit there and watch me for an hour. British Crumpet Man gets disappointed when I won't sleep with him and wait for him to make me crumpet. All right, well, that's the end of my review. I hated this flick. Don't watch it. Skip it. Not highly recommended. I won't say check it out, but I will say skip it later.